My number.
All right. Click OK. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Avini Vibes. I'm here with Carol Witt, my co-host. Carol, God bless you, and thank you for always being here and supporting us with Avini Vibes. You know, we couldn't do it without Carol because she pulls it all together. So if I can see a hands up, like some of you have been through MJ stuff or whatever, like Carol, bravo. Thank you, Carol, for doing this for us and always supporting it. Like Chip. Oh my God. What was that? Chip's like,
That's
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 like a
the
chip
birds.
move.
That's the
Like
birds
That's just
everybody's
flying.
got to come up right.
that is that is the vortex of volume.
Let me see that one more time. Oh my
Vortex of
God.
volume.
Yeah. So, as you're here with us tonight, that's what you got to think about who you are, why you're different, why you're special. Carol's got her own special Carol Wit. Like she's special. Chip's got his volume of depth or whatever, but each one of us have our gifts and our strengths and we bring it together. And that's why Vinny Vibe is here. It was Carol and I talked about it and she's the one who brought it to fruition. So I'm grateful for that. But remember, we're here tonight, no medical claims. We're here to educate. We're here to learn from one another, encourage one another. And, we're all on our own journey. I did an amazing conference call today with somebody in my own community today. Greenwood Lake, New York is on fire. We lost thousands of acres, thousands, like people with masks. It was an awful, awful experience. We're fortunate enough that we're right over the hill, but if you think of Greenwood Lake, New York, it's right in Tuxedo Park, right there. So the Tuxedo was named because the elite came out of Manhattan and they were able to get a little place where you only could be invited by the elite. So Greenwood Lake settled, and this week well, it's about 10 days now, we've been on fire. So we have so many people that are struggling. And I thought to myself, how can I help these people? And Rik Deitsch, our biochemist, was grateful enough to share with me why people that are affected by fire, even your firefighters. So I want to put a little seed in your brain. Think about who you know that is dealing with fires. Have you ever put a steam pot to boil water on the stove and you forgot about it? Yeah, I did. I'll step up. Hannah's shaking her head. Yep. And what happens? The pot goes on fire. So what happens when the pot gets on fire? You have volatile organic compounds coming out, and the firemen call it food on the stove. So they don't rush in with their mask on. But guess what? They're breathing in all of those bad, bad things that are going into their lungs. So that's just food for thought. That's off topic tonight, but I wanted to give it that little tip. Tonight, we're here to talk about healthy heart, and we're blessed to have all of you here. We're blessed to have Chip, we're blessed to have Carol and Dr. Nakita with us. Welcome, Dr. Nakita. How are you? Up,
I'm
unmute.
doing great. It's kind of cold here. I'm very cold.
Where are you? You're in
I'm in
Texas.
Texas.
So
It was
cold.
35 this morning. I know that's not a lot to y'all, but for us, when we normally 90 degrees, that's pretty cold.
That's chilly, chilly. So what I want to share with you is that I want to ask all of you. I was so fortunate last night I don't watch a lot of TV, but I turned on the tube and I saw my husband fell asleep because pray for Craig. He's going to have surgery tomorrow morning. We're leaving for NYU tomorrow for his eighth surgery for his arm at 6 o'clock in the morning. So please keep him in the prayers. But I saw somebody that I knew a long time ago. I met this man, Dr. Kenneth Cooper. Does anybody know who he is?
I've heard of
Anybody?
him.
Yeah, so Dr. Kenneth Cooper he was an athletic, he actually was in the military, and his dad told him, you can't exercise because what's going to happen if you exercise, your heart will enlarge and your heart's going to get bigger and your heart's going to turn to fat and you're going to die. And so he was a pioneer. So I've been following him for many, many, many years. He's 93 years old, and I had an opportunity to watch a video last night of him. You know, he's somebody that's a pioneer, somebody that, stepped forth like a Rik Deitsch in scientific research. And he's somebody that now has had, I'm looking at my notes. He started with, the adversity of all of us, that when you're cutting edge, or somebody that's going out to proclaim something that's different. So he was the one that is the one that there was 150,000 joggers, and now we have 34 million joggers because of him. And he faced adversity. He actually proved, with lots of criticism, scientific proving, cutting edge. You ever hear the book? His book was aerobics. I have his book. His book was made in 1968. It was only $1, but he and his wife presented this book. Chip, you probably know this. Dr. Kenneth Cooper in Dallas, profound now. Treated Bush, treated many, many, many profound athletes. But, somebody that was cutting edge, like a Rik Deitsch, and like what we're doing here in Avini. And, it's so amazing that how he spoke about, he's 93 years old and he's still treating patients. And he still was the one that went forth with adversity, because he said exercise is good. And that the medical world said, you're going to create a heavy heart. You're going to create a heart that's going to get bigger and turn to fat and going to kill you. So even when he had George Bush on the treadmill, they were worried about him killing the president. And long story short, he's 93 and still running strong. So tonight, I just like to, open up the lines of thinking about our heart health. We're blessed to have Rik Deitsch. We're blessed to have the people we have. And we need to support the people of the number one killer in health, heart health. So Dr. Nakita, please join us.
Hi, everyone. I'm very honored to be here tonight to talk about this heart health. That was one of the reasons why I went abroad, to bring my friend back over, is because he had a cardiovascular incident in Africa, and we had to bring him home. He's right now currently in hospital in New York, and this is one of the products that I recommended him taking, and he didn't take it before he left, but he's eating the pills like a little baby bird now. Um, but one of the things I want to start off with saying is, yes, Christine mentioned that the leading cause of death in the United States is heart disease, and that's something we all need to look at, and when we look at the heart and heart disease, we want to look at what our heart is doing. Our heart it's a muscle, right? And it pumps blood throughout our body, and it needs to circulate large volumes of blood out, and it has vessels that support that heart, right? And then you have little smaller vessels that support, different parts of your body, like your skin and your hands and your feet. And then on top of that heart muscle and those blood vessels, you have nerves that, there's some little bundle of nerves in the heart that's called the sinoatrial node. And it tells the brain, it's like the brain of the heart. And it tells the heart to pump particular beats, and keep a rhythm. And, we have large blood vessels in our heart that are our body that pumps blood throughout our body, and, these surface blood vessels, they not only supply our skin and our hand and our feet, but they also supply our sex organs. So that's a really important thing, right? And so when after talking about the heart, and those are all the different parts of the heart, we also have something called heart disease, right? Now, one of the main parts of our heart disease is something called arterial and atherosclerosis, right? And what those things do is they block the arteries, they can clog the arteries, and they can also cause them to die. I'm sorry. I'm a little puppy here messing with my table. And they can also cause like little cracks in the arteries. Can you come get the doggy, please?
We want to see the doggy.
The doggy's messing with me. Thank you. Okay, so Where was I? About the atherosclerosis. They want to
Yes.
see the doggy? You guys
Yes.
want to see the doggy?
Yeah, we want to see the
Okay,
doggy.
let them see the doggy.
Oh, how adorable. Oh, looks like a wire terrier. What is it?
It's like a golden doodle. Her mom was a golden doodle, and she got in the backyard, and they don't know who the dad is.
Oh,
So yeah, she's a little short thingy, but she gets into a lot. Um, so yeah, so the main parts of heart disease is the atherosclerosis, the those things that blocks the arteries, right? Now, why that's important is because those plaques or those things are accumulating throughout our life. You know, we're eating cholesterol, we're eating things, and little parts of it go in our blood vessels because it's in our bloodstream, and it causes this reaction in our blood vessels. And what happens is because those little large things touch the walls of the arteries, they cause little cuts and scrapes, and that causes this inflammatory reaction. And that's like the heart of the atherosclerosis and the blockage. Once we start this cascade of inflammatory responses in our body, it causes the arteries to kind of protect itself. And when you basically, it attracts more immune response, it attracts more plaque, and basically you start building up like smooth muscles to protect your veins around it, and it just becomes this like almost like this piece of gum surrounded by um healthy tissue to keep it there, right? And that gum is kind of like getting old and like sticky but like not elastic anymore, and after a while of accumulating it kind of like it can explode, like break out. And once it breaks out, depending on where that blood vessel is or where that clot is, you could have different things like a stroke or a heart attack or anything like that, right? So those are the things what we're trying to prevent. We want to make sure that our bodies don't have those things, right? Now we also have another thing that's common in our medical field right now, and that's congestive heart failure. And a lot of people are living with congestive heart failure, and that's where we have a failure to pump blood. So we have something called values, and we have stuff called ejection fractions, and those are very big words, and they're kind of scary sometimes, but those numbers are important to know because with congestive heart failure, it's a failure for your blood to pump out fast enough, right? So you have this ejection fraction. So the ejection fraction, you want it to be high because when you want your blood to pump, you want that blood to get straight to where it needs to go, right? And then the endostolic volume is the blood that's left over after you pump the blood out with the pump of the heart. Okay. Now that endostolic volume, you want it to be really low. Now, in congestive heart failure, because the heart is not pumping hard, the ejection fraction is low, and we have a lot of blood left behind, and that causes our the blood to pool, and it would back up in like people's lungs and sometimes their extremities and get over what like waterlogged basically, and you have a problem with breathing. So that's when you have, but what's sad is that people are living with these conditions. They're like symptoms that people walk around every day with, I have congestive heart failure and don't know any way to resolve it. All right. So now I can go on and tell you every single product in our cardio care, right? I want to show you our cardio care. This is such a beautiful bottle. I don't know if you guys can see it.
yeah.
It's such a beautiful bottle, right? So elegant. But what I want to say is the inflammatory process of the heart disease, how does this product help that? Like, how does this product alleviate that? The way our system is designed, we need our heart vessels to be soft and supple and fluid, like really flexible. We don't want them to be hard, and this whole process of inflammatory makes our heart vessels hard, brittle, rigid, and then a lot of times, because of the plaques are building up, um, it attracts calcium, right? Calcium deposits, and these things kind of get over time, they become like what our bones use calcium, right? And so if we have them in our arteries and they become hard, then we have now calcium deposits in our arteries, which is supposed to be flexible and fluid. So we don't want those things. Those are the things that we don't want. And old age helps have that occur. Like they say in the data that the average 50-year-old man in the States have one blocked artery, because of this process. Now, what happens when you're taking cardio care? I don't want to go through each little thing that's in the jar. Okay. I want to leave you with what these things help, right? So what happens is when you're taking cardio care 3 times a day, you have an increased available amount of energy in the live muscle that the heart uses for food. Okay. So why is that important? Our heart muscle uses about 10 times the energy as any other muscle in our body. Okay. So if our heart muscle needs that much energy, we need to make sure it's supplied with enough oxygen and blood and energy to pump efficiently for us. So having extra available energy is imperative for that, right? Now, the other thing that this product does is it relaxes our blood vessels. And that's really important because we want them to be fluid so the blood can get to everything it needs to get to. We also have, it protects and controls the rate and rhythm of the heart muscle, which is very important because we want it to beat properly. And this product also increases collagen production, which it helps with the elasticity of the vasculature. Let me see what else I can say. Oh, and the flexibility, because you want your blood vessels to be flexible. Now, this also
Dr.
helps
Nakita, I
yes.
just want to jump in. When we were at conference, Rik talked about a major vessel that lays across the heart. Now we got our heart and a major vessel that lays across the heart.
The coronary artery?
And he said, what happens as we age, it gets stiff. It turns like a cold hose. And what's important is we keep it flexible. That's why it's important we take this product, because that's going to help with all of those things to keep the heart flexible. That especially the coronary artery, not to be like a cold hose. Like I'm in New York, it's getting the cold hoses I have to bring in. So
exactly.
yeah,
So
important.
that collagen production is imperishable. It's like you have to have it to stay flexible and not become brittle over years. This also helps, like I said, the integrity of the blood vessels, like to keep them because they're smooth muscles running through the blood vessels to help pump the blood. So we want those muscles to be able to contract. And if those blood vessels are stiff, that it can't contract to get blood to the feet, or the blood from the feet up above, like from your extremities to the middle.
I have a question.
Now you have a question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I started taking I have my little watch here and it tells me how many beats per minute, my heart. And my heart was going between 93 and 95. And since I've been on cardio, it's now at 82 to 85.
Nice.
I know.
That's awesome.
All right. So when I watched Dr. Cooper last night, average male is 78 to 79, and a woman, a man, Carol, what was yours?
Mine's running around 85, right, 82 to 85 now.
So you're in a really good space when he talked.
I know. I was like, because I was a little worried. It was, up there a little higher. And now that I've been on this since Dallas, since it came out, different.
Yeah.
It's amazing that every one of these products that they use inside of the product helps in different aspects of our cardiovascular care. Like I said, one of the other things is because of the flexibility of the muscle contractibility of the vessels, it's allowing congestive heart failure people, the symptoms to reverse. So they having decreased symptoms of the congestive heart failure. Like many of the extracts used in the product, they help maintain blood pressure. They help rejuvenate your circulation so that you have more energy in there, right? And it also impacts your sex organs. It seems like it's a really important factor of people's life, especially when it comes to cardio care, because this is a huge, basically I would call it epidemic of mass proportions of everyone having this heart disease. that really affects the smaller vessels in our body, which affects our hands, our feet, and our sex organs. And many of you would notice that, women would have less libido, men would have less, physical representation of pleasure. And those are very important to people, especially if we're finding symptoms of this magnitude in 50 years old, The other thing that I absolutely love is our product, Detoxalike. Now, it has this beautiful mechanism in this product, we call it a shuttling mechanism. And what that does is it helps control or control the amount of calcium that's available for our body to utilize to turn it into a hard plaque or calcium deposit. And what's beautiful about that is that our Detoxalike little molecule will hold that calcium and transport it in another part of the body that might need to utilize it, like our bones, for instance, so that it won't be readily available sitting around in our heart where we don't really want to utilize it. And so therefore we won't have a huge buildup of calcium or calcifying of our arteries that way, right? Now, also this shuttling mechanism helps to decrease leg cramps, because that also has a problem with people with leg cramps or they found with restless legs or stuff like that, it actually helps with that as well. And I think the best and most important thing is that not only can anyone take cardio care, but even if you're on cardiovascular drugs or blood thinners, there's no contraindications of taking this drug, or I'm sorry, this product.
This product, yes.
Yeah. Any more questions with this one? I love it. To me, I love it. It's almost like I wonder what age we should start to take this.
Listen, I just want to share. Like, I was so inspired because I really followed, Dr. Cooper. He was like cutting edge. He was a person that I think it was 1968. Dr. Kenneth Cooper. He's 93 years old, and I watched his interview last night. And he was a pioneer in exercise. I'm looking at my notes, but he was someone that, the medical field said, you're not going to exercise because your heart's going to get enlarged and it's going to turn to fat. Well, long and behold, he's 93-year-old and he's still jogging around. And, he's scientifically proven that exercise is important. So, I don't care what we do here tonight for Avini. What I want to say to all of you, what's really important, like I did aerobics. I did aerobics. I taught aerobics, 4th stage. I taught those high levels. But it's really, really important that we take these products, but we all have to move. We have to move. You got to move 3 times a week. So I want to see a hands up of how you're going to commit that we're going to move. We're going to move. We're going to exercise. We're going to walk. I don't see any hands up, but hands up. We got to move. We have to move. There you go. We got to move.
I have a question.
Because he was a pioneer that, listen, he was like somebody I've followed since the beginning of time. He's 93 years old. And he was like us. He was people that were talking about stuff that they were shooting him down. He came up with the phrase, how to feel your feet again. So grab onto, he was a trailblazer. I love what his wife said. His wife used to go out and speak because he was so busy in the medical field, right? And he was a cardiologist. And they say, this is what they say. Or they'd say, if I smoke and drink, am I going to hell? And she'd say, I don't know if you're going, but I know you're going to get there sooner if you don't pay attention. Like this interview was so profound. It was amazing. And, this was a man like us, a pioneer like Rik and all of you here tonight. Like, we're going to get people shooting us down. We're going to get people saying, like, he had the opportunity to be in the military, and he was in the military. He had the opportunity. He was cutting edge. And that's what we are. We're cutting edge. But Dr. Nakita, thank you for sharing that because, exercise is important. We can take all of this, but I'd love to have a commitment from all of us here on Avini Vibes. We're going to do it, but we have to move. We have to move.
Okay.
Okay,
I have a
I have
quick
another
question.
thing I needed to say. Go ahead.
go ahead.
I didn't think I need cardio care because I don't have anything really wrong with my heart. But as Dr. Nakita was saying, how it helps with the energy and that at any age you can start taking it. Now, what I did go to get testing for conjunctional heart failure because I thought because in the summertime, especially like I retain water, my
Mm-hmm.
feet and ankles really swell up, and sometimes my hand does too. Not so much in the winter time, but in the summertime. But
Mm-hmm.
since I started with the Cell Defender this summer, I didn't notice that as much. Only time it was swell, but if I'm doing a whole lot of walking or standing on my feet. So is that something that I can take um to prevent the swelling?
I think I would recommend cardio care at least for 6 weeks just to see how it works for you. But I also would really recommend you take the water, the what is it called? Hydro Plus?
Hydro Plus.
Hydration.
Yeah.
What?
Hydration.
Hydration
Hydration.
Plus.
Plus.
Oh
It
yeah, I
seems
do.
like
I
you
take
might.
that. That's in my water. I do it every day
Well,
or the
this is the
summer.
problem with it. Listen up. For the
Mhm.
hydration, you need to take it
Mhm.
within the hour of you putting it in your water. It should be in 8 ounces only. You shouldn't put it in a huge water bottle because to be effective, it should be taken within an hour of you drinking it. It's not to be sipped. You take it like within 8 ounces, and you take it within that
Mhm.
hour, and it does its work. But it loses its
So,
effectiveness to put it in more than 8 ounces of water and then just sip it throughout the day.
okay, because Doug has said you put the whole packet, the travel packet, and
Hmm.
you do 20 ounces. I mean, this
But
I
you have
know
to
is
do it
just
within an hour. You
36.
can't sip on it all day. It has to be
So you
done.
drink the whole thing in 1 hour, within an hour.
Yeah. You have to drink it quick.
With
You
a
don't have to.
straw.
Yeah.
So once you do that, do you have to? So if you need, so well,
I can't hear
We
you.
lost you.
Can't hear you.
You
wait,
froze.
I think my battery thing went dead. 1 second. Let me
I can
switch
hear
up.
you now.
We can hear
Okay.
you.
All right. So how much of the hydration should you take?
Well, for it just seemed like to me, it seems like you're a little dehydrated. So I would take it for you. I would take it like, you don't have to drink it with a straw, but I would take it at least 3 times a day for about a week to see if your swelling decreases, see how you feel. Because the beauty of it is it gets the water to where it needs to go in your body. Whereas other times not taking it is just kind of sitting around and doing its own thing. Versus
Hmm.
if you're not drinking enough water and you habitually don't drink enough water, it is imperative to start giving your cells the water it needs. So I
So
would suggest taking
one
it
of
just.
those so one of those scoops or one of those packages for and so would that be a 20 ounce or 16-ounce bottle of water? Do that about two or
Yeah,
three
so what
times.
I do is I take half a package. I take a half a package and I put
Mhm,
in 8 ounces of water.
mhm.
Okay.
I feel works for me. I do 8 ounces, 8 ounces of water. I'll just use this for right now. You can't see it, but and a half a pack.
The problem is that I think she's retaining water because she's dehydrated. That's one of
So
the issues. She's
Mhm.
she's
I
retaining a
do
lot
a
of
whole
water.
pack, do a whole pack.
Yeah, because I don't think she's getting enough water. Our body tends to hold water when we don't get enough because it doesn't think we have it, right?
Right,
Mhm.
right.
But you probably drink a lot of
Oh,
water and eat fruits and vegetables and other things that have water. So everybody is a little
okay.
different.
Okay. So so would I hold up because in the wintertime I don't have an issue with swelling. It's only in the summertime. So should I
Hmm.
wait to do this in the summertime to see it?
No,
Nope.
hydrate, right? Hydrate all the time.
Yep.
All
No,
the
The
time.
I'm gonna
summertime,
hydrate. I'm gonna change up my routine. I
All
thought
right,
the
I
so
was
summer
doing
is
the
listen,
right
more.
thing.
Deborah, you're going to be on the crew because you're here in New York. We're all exercising 30 minutes 3 times a day.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
what you said. Like we all have to exercise 30 minutes 3 times a day. You know, Dr.
Gotcha.
Look
Yeah.
him up. Dr. Cooper, God, the guy's been around forever and treating presidents and people shot him down. But what's important, he did the studies and he's a Rik, Dr. Kenneth Cooper. Look him up. Like I've known
Mhm.
this man for years and years and years, and he has saved so many people. So it's all important that we all move 3 times a week, 30 minutes a day. That's where I
Yeah.
want to see hands up. Don't say hands up. Hands up,
I say
Carol.
too.
Gary, Delta, Delta. And it doesn't matter if you're chasing children, it's your time. So we're going to commit on this Avini Vibes.
Mhm.
We're going to do 3 days a week, 30 minutes. That's moving aerobically. That's going to make our life so much better in the long run. And I want you to look him up, Dr. Kenneth Cooper. He's been around a long, long, long time. He's 93 years old. He speaks faster than me, and he's not even from New York. And he's treated so many people in a good way. So look, we're all in here for the purpose of helping people to get well and
Mhm.
cutting edge stuff. I've been so blessed the past month to meet so many people from walks of life I couldn't even imagine that are so cutting edge. And I'm going to share this, I'm going to share this on here. They have a lot of money. And when you have a lot of money, you have an opportunity to go to things that maybe I couldn't afford. But I've been, and Chip's shaking his head because, I always say, like, why does, I deal a lot with the NFL. I have a lot of Olympic horses. I have a lot of Olympic clients. Why do they have access to stuff maybe I didn't have? But we have access to something that we can share. I'll leave it with that. Chip's raising,
Oh.
having his hands. Like we're here. We got it.
Yep.
We can do it together. But we all have to exercise 3 days a week, 30 minutes. And I'm going to hold you accountable, whether you like it or not.
I love it.
Okay. So another
Hannah,
question.
go ahead.
With the hydration, I have to drink it. Okay, a half a packet and the 16 ounces and drink it within an hour. Okay, I guess that's doable. Um, Second thing is, do I need to take the cardio care now?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Who's saying yes?
Gary says
Is that
yes.
Chip?
I say
The
yes.
answer is always yes.
Yes. Yes.
So,
And I
so
have,
Deborah, can
mm-hmm,
I share with you one factoid? I'm looking at the
please.
container of the Avini Plus Hydration, and it
Mm-hmm.
says directions: add to 6 to 8 ounces of water. So if you're listening to the Dr. Nakita, she's suggesting you're diluting it in too much water and you're letting it sit. So back up a
Gotcha.
bit, read the directions, and put in a scoop in 6 and 8 ounces of water and drink that within an hour and
Gotcha.
then repeat.
Yes. Thank you,
And
Chip.
take your
I had that box when I bought the small travel package, which is easier to travel with. Okay.
Good.
good.
I was listening to Doug. Doug said put it in 20 ounces.
Wow.
He didn't say nothing about drinking it within 1 hour. So okay, I got it. All right. And then how much of the cardio care should I take? Should I take that like 3 times a week, 4 times a week, or every
Every
day?
day.
I take it daily.
Yeah.
Every day.
Carol, go ahead, Carol. Speak to it.
I take it daily, every day. If you want the kind of heartbeat I have, yeah, take it daily.
All right. So
Deborah, I'm
for
70, so take it daily.
Deborah, the
Yes.
cardio care is beautiful, especially because they give you energy. So if you really just need some energy and a boost in the morning, I would take all three at once. If you just need some stability throughout the day, I will take it once, 3 times a day. So that is your choice, but you can try it different ways to see what works for you, because every single person on this earth is different and it will work differently. So try it once with 3 pillows in the morning. And then if that's too much energy at once, then you can do it the 3 times a day, which gives you a little bit of burst throughout the day.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, I take 3 of the heart and 3 of the mind, and so I take 6, 3 of each every morning, and it's phenomenal. It works.
It's good.
The energy level is great.
Okay.
Try that, Deb.
I will. I will. I'm just not a pill taking person.
Hey, you have to do Rik's for these. To swallow them, you put your head down to swallow. This is the beautiful thing. I love that.
Me.
I tried
you put
that.
the capsule
It don't
in your
work
mouth.
with me.
Yeah.
And
I
because
tried
they
it.
float, you have to put your head down and swallow. It floats to the back of your throat, and it's so much easier to swallow them. So
I'll try it again.
we've been taking medicine wrong our whole lives. So
There we go.
I love it now. It's so easy. So easy. They don't even have to be capsules anymore. They can be pills and you can take them.
So I have a question. So this is when I watched this interview of somebody that's dear to my heart, a 93-year-old Dr. Kenneth Cooper, and they asked the question, what does it feel to be a pioneer to do what God has asked you to do? Now, whatever your God is, I don't want to but whatever it is, what does it feel? So sometimes it feels like he said, sometimes it feels like adversity comes forward. But we're all here because we're called here. And that was a question he asked. And then the interviewer said, was there a point in time when you wanted to quit? And he definitely said yes. But his wife said, what resonates in your heart? What resonates in our heart is that we are the people here that are called to be on Avini Vibes and be involved with Avini. Because I think that if we would do a raise of hands, we all know that it feels like sometimes we're called to do something that is not easy but it's profound. And I love Hannah. Look at Hannah. She's shaking her head. And it's not always easy. But he was the pioneer. And I knew this man from the beginning of time. He's 93 years old. And he said, you know what? I was called to a mission. And now look at, he's changed the world of now we're going to change the way we look at health. And we look at things. In medical school, his father said, no, you won't exercise because your heart's going to get big and you're going to have a fat heart and you're going to die. But he was profound to go forward. He was profound. And we're really, really blessed right now I think we have a little bit of more of an open window. In therapeutic horseback riding, when I put an autistic child on a horse, I'd have like this moment of time, nonverbal kid, put him on a horse and I get vestibular input in. And I have this little bit of a window that opens for the information to come in to be received. And I feel like we all have that opportunity. So please don't sit stagnant. Go boldly, carry the staff, Chip, jump in, because I think that, we have to go forward. We need the confidence to go forward to do what we have, that window right now to share, because people are more open. They understand that we're not that they've been duped or, whatever. But Chip, please come forth. We love your wisdom.
Well, I'm happy to jump in after Dr. Nakita and Christine talk. I feel like I ought to just say, and the congregation stood in the pews, amen. That's kind of like because I think when people listen to the way you speak, they think I'm going to do that. And the last thing I want to do is hit the undo button on a talk when somebody just did something where the people are saying, I want to do that. But that never stopped me before, so I guess I'll go again. You watch Hannah right now, and sometimes yesterday on my Wednesday call, I talked about a 3-way call where I felt like we had guidance and figured something out that was pretty challenging. And Hannah and I, right before this, did one like that. And I kind of wish you could all be there to hear the process of thinking these things through and thinking in pictures and then applying the products to solve a very, very difficult problem. And I liked it, when when Christine was talking about her favorite doc that's now 93, bold new ideas resonate in your heart, and then you have to face the opposition. And the opposition kind of starts out, violent opposition, maybe cautiously a couple of people try it, and it winds up with, oh yeah, I always knew that was true. But in the meantime, you took all the slings and arrows to get it to that point, right? Everybody's, yeah, I always knew that true. Yeah, that zeolite stuff. Yeah, I always knew that was, yeah, right. It's kind of crazy like that. But I wanted to do something because I'm kind of tickled that I can read the back of this cardio deal. Yeah, and what space did Dr. Nakita leave for me? She said, well, I'm not going to talk about each ingredient. I am for a second. So let's just go down this list. And it could be, if you were looking at the back of this bottle, it could be a human sexual performance product, right? She talked about it. I think she said there's an epidemic of mass proportion or lack thereof. It may be a mathematical problem with a low coefficient of expansion. I don't know exactly what she was talking about, but it may have been these ingredients. And she was talking about the measurements of the heart and how it expels fluid, and how a little over half of it each time is the ejection fraction. And that each time it squeezes, it should move about half of what's in it on down the line, or a little bit more. And whatever's left in there is the other number that she talked about. So she had two numbers. The endostolic volume is what's left in there. The ejection fraction. I spoke to a woman who her entire job was to go around Hawaii and do ultrasounds of people's hearts who were having heart problems. And she said that she saw ejection fractions down, in the teens. And usually she wouldn't see those people again because they would die. But if she did see them again, and, she's supposed to just take a picture, but she started asking them, what are you doing? Well, guess what she heard over and over again? Coenzyme Q10. What's the first thing on the product list? Coenzyme Q10.
Yeah.
Usually the largest ingredients listed first. Who's lacking coenzyme Q10 right now? The biggest repetitive pharmaceutical grouping in the world is statin drugs for cholesterol. It impairs liver function to stop the production of cholesterol. Same exact chemical stops production of coenzyme Q10. So we're able to, and you can hot rod your body too. Deborah was asking, okay, I'm fine. Why would I want to, start doing this now? Deborah, turn that adventure machine into a hot rod. Run the heck out of that thing, right? Find out what it'll do. And so then L-arginine. Lots of people knew L-arginine for sexual health. But Rik went further and he said L-arginine needs to recirculate with L-citrulline in order to stay fresh. They have to renew each other. So there's both L-arginine and L-citrulline in your Plus Cardio product. Grapeseed extract. Network marketing, famous for bringing great things to the humans. Pycnogenol, grapeseed or pine bark extract, highly antioxidant. And we have grapeseed, essentially pycnogenol is in our product. So that is highly antioxidant. I'm going to say this word, ascorbyl palmate. What is that? It is a super high functioning vitamin C. So we just had two fabulous antioxidant ingredients there. And now everybody's starting to say I'm running it because Dr. Nakita just had them where they're saying, yeah, I'm going to do that. And I got them all saying, well, maybe not. don't let me do that to you, but I get a kick out of this stuff. So, well, selenium in areas of China selenium is like a miracle supplement because they are depleted in their soils. They don't have any selenium. And when they introduce that one biologically active metal, everything starts going right. And so we have selenium, one of the most expensive ingredients that you can possibly put into a product. Hawthorn. I always ask Rik when I get to see him, and he laughs at me when I do it. And I'll say, Rik, what are you doing that I don't know about that I ought to know about? What are you doing that I don't know about? And one of the things over the last couple of years that I would see he would bring forward to people that were having heart troubles in the group was Hawthorn. Now he brings it to us, and it's in the Plus Cardio product. So he got a little bit of a jump on him with that. Hawthorn. Proboscidine, one of the most expensive ingredients. You know, it makes Neil shudder a little bit, but he's proud of it because that has to do with the circulation at the extremities, the dilution, the dilation, the size, the elasticity, the transfer in the tiniest blood vessels. Proboscidine, we have proboscidine in there. Taurine, another amino acid. Detoxylite, the most important ingredient to come to natural health in many, many years. And beet powder. Now you see on the TV all the time, heart ingredient with only beet powder, right? Wow. Wow. It's amazing what we've got. So we just went through the ingredients there. No contraindications. That was really important. Shuttling mechanism. I love it that that's part of the languaging now. Dr. Nakita had that in. And you can chew your pills. If you can't swallow them, chew them, eat them like nuts. Just chomp them up.
Hey, Chip, can you remind them that they need to tell their customers that they have to be under the doctor care in case their drugs stop work too well? Because when they're taking the cardio care, they might need to come off of their heart medicine. I didn't say about that.
So say some of the categories that you might that the physician might back them away from if their heart started working better. Because typically you're talking about a prescription that would have risk or ill effects, and you don't want to take it if you don't have to.
Yes. What happens is their blood pressure dropped too low because they're on blood pressure medicine. So the cardio care
these would be ACE inhibitors, ACE receptor blockers, things that cause you to pass water. These are mechanisms of blood pressure drugs. And that's what she's talking about. If you don't have to take the thing that hurts you to help you, and you can do the thing that helps you to help you instead. I think that's what Dr. Nakita just said. So those are some of the examples. So ACE inhibitors, ACE receptor blockers, things that dry you out. And what do the ACEs do? When your heart asks to speed up, it won't let it do it. And if you become inefficient enough, and this will cause you to become more efficient, but your heart will just keep trying to speed up and speed up and speed up to compensate for lungs that aren't exchanging, your heart will try to run out ahead of that and fix it. That's probably what Dr. Kenneth Cooper's dad saw, was people whose circulatory systems had become inefficient and their heart was trying to compensate. That's when the heart gets big. The heart attempts to compensate for inefficiency. So did you say that he was a guy that came up with the term aerobics?
Yeah, so Dr. Kenneth Cooper he was born, he's 93 years old. And he basically, I mean, I have his first book is $1, and he's 93 years old. He was a pioneer in aerobics, and he was the athletic heart. So the controversy was his dad did not support his athleticism because he was in the Air Force, he was in the military. And his dad said, you can't exercise because your heart will get enlarged And the theory back then in the medical community was your heart will get enlarged and get fat and you'll die of coronary heart disease. So he was the front runner, as we are. He was the front runner to say, no, 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 I'm going to be better at this, and I'm going to prove that the heart is a muscle and the heart can work harder to be better. So that's why, he's got a long history. If you, I'll put it in the chat or I'll find the interview. It was really amazing because he was challenged so much. I remember reading his first book. His first book was aerobics. I taught aerobics for, 13 years, and people thought I was crazy. But, if you did aerobics, it was the exchange of oxygen and that forcing your heart to have that exchange made your heart stronger. But he was before my time, and his dad thought differently. But, he was uphill battle, and he was in the Air Force. So, he had the opportunity to go Air Force, and he had that opportunity in his life to make that decision of which way he would go. His wife challenged him to say, because he could have gone into the direction of the military, not easy, but a different direction. But he in Dallas, I mean, I've been there once, but he has saved people's lives, and he's the pioneer, as we are, for cardiac rehab and cardiac. Your heart's a muscle. So he did the studies. I think I took notes, but it was just amazing because, where where it went off for him was in medical school. He was 168 pounds and he worked out. And then when he went off, he became 204 pounds, and he gained all this weight. And that's when he was 29 years old. He decided that there was something that he needed to embrace and change the world. And he changed the world. There's no doubt about it. He became what's called Cooperize. Does anybody in this crowd know what Cooperize is? Cooperize are the 8 steps to getting well. Cooperize. Anybody remember that? Cooperize. It was 8 steps, and they took the data and they said, we're going to look at the data, people that exercise. So, even if I don't have all the details here tonight, this group needs to commit to what we're going to do 3 days a week, 30 minutes a day. All right. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to keep taking our Avini products, and we're going to get healthier and better, and we're going to live longer, and we're going to live longer to share what we're all called here to do.
May I ask something?
Yes.
Okay, because you hit something, Chip and Dr. Nakita, but Chip, you said that statins stops the production of CoQ10. And I am constantly getting people, well, my doctor has me on statins for the rest of my life. And then you try to say something to them and it's like firewall, just okay, back off. But this is something that is, this is something that needs to be shared.
I'm pleased to report that you're going to be on drugs for the rest of your life. The good news is, because of your insurance program, they're going to be free to you.
Right.
If you do the other side, you're going to have to actually probably purchase your products because the world hasn't come around to the right way of thinking yet. The free stuff, cheap stuff may just be cheap, not just inexpensive. Could be even wrong. Dave talked about that this week. The rest of your life, if I take care of you, you're going to be on these drugs the rest of your life. The good news is they're going to be free because you got a great insurance plan.
Yep. And so, Hannah, I just had a client that I met literally in the ShopRite, in the grocery store. And I bumped into him, and it takes me an hour to get through it because I talk to a lot of people. But this is what he said. He said, I just came from a doctor, and my same doctor. Now, my doctor's pretty holistic. He's a DO. And I said, so how are you doing? He goes, he wants to put me on statins. So I said, okay. go to go to the National Health Institute and look up statin drugs and just do your own education and let them look for themselves. Like some will, some won't, but some will, some won't. And he called me back yesterday. Like and he said, wow, I realize if I take that drug, I have this is what he said to me. This is what he said to me. This part of my brain might go dull. Like, I didn't even have to say it.
And your legs are going to feel heavy and they'll likely cramp at night.
Ooh.
And then you'll have, people say, I'm always going to die of something. My own dad in the Air Force, had stripes all the way from one end of his arm to the other, died of smoking and drinking himself to death, from Middletown, New York. All the guy stuff that made you macho back then.
Mm-hmm.
Way before now, I went to, one of my buddies that's a frequency and holistic practitioner in a remote area of Colorado today, and he started checking me over. He says, you're better and better. He said, I have everybody coming in here and they get to me because they're god awful sick. You walk in here and I've got an athlete on the table. And I said, well, I'm kind of proud of myself right now because I have over 2,000 fresh, continuous miles in these legs, beginning in the middle of the summer. And so you can imagine what the heart's like. And so the heart goes ka-thump, ka-thump. If I sit here and do nothing for a while, it'll go down into the face. And that's, for a 74-year-old guy that wants to be better at 75, when you're talking to people and you're talking to yourself, somebody says, would you like dessert? You can think about it a second. Well, short term, yes, I'd love some. Long term, no, thank you. I'm in training. Try that out. I'm in training. What do you mean you're in training? Well, my intention is to be better at 46 than I was at 45.
3 days a week, 30 minutes a day. All of us on this call are committed.
Amen, sister. I think that's maybe our close.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Christine.
All right. So we're all right. We're all going to do it. Like whether we're all going to do it 3 days a week, 30 minutes a day. We're going to exercise any way we are. We're going to be better. We're going to be healthier. We're going to take our products. And Carol, you got the close. What do you want to say, girlfriend?
Oh my goodness. Well, I just want to say we are in the best place we can be in our lives for our health and our wealth. We're in the best place we can be. Avini.
Amen. All right, y'all. Happy Thanksgiving. Go enjoy your families, but don't forget to share or listen. Better yet, listen, right? Listen. All right.
Thank you to Priscilla for her work this morning. She was the morning call. Hi, Priscilla.
Oh, hi, Priscilla. Oh, yeah, it was awesome.
Really was. Happy
Driving
Thanksgiving.
in the dark. Thank
Happy
you. Love you all.
Thanksgiving, guys.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. God bless
It's
you
Bye,
all.
guys.
Bye,
Real good.
everyone.
We'll see you next
Thanksgiving.
Thursday.
Thank you.
Chip, if you're
God bless
still
See you
there,
next Thursday, right? It's
Chip,
Thanksgiving.
if you're still there.
Yeah.
Okay, are we done recording?
No, let me stop recording. Hold on.